Good afternoon. I'm in the storm zone. Apologies for being a little late. There is impending doom on the horizon. Maybe. There's maybe impending doom on the horizon. Also, I'm so sorry, Storm, because I'm literally like the voice spot is coming online right now. I apologize. Now it's up. But yes, I hope you guys are having a good day. There's storms outside. I'm here to make your day worse, but specifically because I think we need to change the way that dwarves give birth. Specifically, I think dwarves should give birth like seahorses. I think the male should get the babies. And Storm apparently likes this idea too. Let me go look at Blue Sky. Yeah, exactly. That's awful. Excellent, Storm. Thank you. Also, why is there a storm outside? Not you. And 4 choppy hours of sleep, but I did get to see the live letter. Good God. True, don't die on me. But, yeah, no, I agree. I think the male dwarf beards are the perfect nesting ground for the dwarf eggs, right? And then when the male dwarf births the eggs from his beard, they take the shape of like stones, of like, you know, like pebbles. And those pebbles grow in time to bigger stones, which turn into dwarves. That's how it works. Real talk, this came about because right now, in one of my D&D games, we're in the Dwarf Land. We're in Dwarf City. And Pointy Hat, if you guys know Pointy Hat, you should. He's a YouTuber who does a lot of really interesting, like, D&D world building kind of video stuff. He's really funny, and he's also very good. And is also very aware of problematic elements within the world building. But he made a dwarf video recently, which was really well timed for the dwarf part of the campaign that we're currently in. My group is currently. And one of the big questions, both in that video and then that we as a D&D group have had, has been, why are dwarfs boring? Why are dwarfs so boring?
Gamer.
Why are they so
will
boring?
be up to date before 7.2 in 2 weeks. Surmise Pogs.
Hell yeah, punching bag. I'll be caught up today. Close, but we did it. We caught up before 7.2. We did it. We finally did it. Honestly, I think it's really funny. But punching bag, thanks so much for the 47 months. That is almost 4 years. Did you know that 40 plus 7 is 47? That's kind of poggers. Hell yeah. What's a mender?
Unless.
No. Woo, that's what I'm talking about! Anyway, yeah, sorry. Dwarf beardy horror? Yeah, something like that. But, yeah, the thing we were talking about was just how do you make dwarves interesting? Because as we all know, dwarves are really uninteresting. Everybody hates dwarves so much. Just kidding. That's not what I mean. But if you look at, like, if we take D&D as an example, and you look at like the amount of people within a survey playing dwarves versus many of the other ancestries possible, and they're pretty far down the list. They're not high. They're not high, which is odd considering how like storied and fabled dwarves are, like compared to elves, right? Like they're like contemporaries with elves, right? They've been around for a long time. So it's really kind of odd how little they're played, and that's kind of what the conversation was about. And that's what led to ultimately, I have a way to make them more interesting, and it is making the male dwarves like seahorses. That's how to do it. Damn. Are we starting with MSQ or side stuff first? I feel like I should start with the MSQ just so that we actually get it done. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to do my Aether quest too. Like I said, I feel like we should start with the MSQ just to make sure it gets done. I'll give it a bit of time. We'll see. Where did you leave off again? We were helping Kona do some Rowan herding. Oh no, I have to actually do work. You don't have to do work. It's like a Friday, and it's late in the afternoon on a Friday. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? Ah. Yeah, because we left off on that part, and I had explicitly been like, I didn't like that. I did not like how that went. Not to be a bitch, but like, it just wasn't really quite my cup of tea with how things kind of went down. Not that I mean to be incredibly judgmental. I'm happy that we get to see more Kona stuff kind of going on, you know. While we're here, let's just grab it. I thought there was one around here. That flute guy! The fluter. The flute guy who plays a familiar tune. I think what's down here actually. Oh, big trees. Really big trees. Huge trees. Huh. Kind of spooky. Reminds me of like a ribcage. Section did feel a bit weird slide in here. I almost felt like I should have just been in the Shaloni section and based on Dawntrail. Yeah, I mean, I understand why it wasn't by the same turn of the cuff. Just because it would have been like weird to work that in. You know? But it was also just like, Oh, you can make both. I meant to know much of his heart early on. That's true. Oh, is she like chumming the waters? cute. Pertius, you. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, like, it was kind of like, it was kind of difficult to worm it into, oh, I don't need to go into that. It's kind of difficult to worm it into the, like 7.0 kind of quests, but then this part also felt just awkward to put it into. But I think, like, the main crux of my beef with it, if I'm remembering everything correctly and, like, collecting my words again, is that I just don't love how... I don't love how the information's revealed. I like the story, right? Because I think it's interesting that, like, oh, Kona's birth parents never abandoned him, but were likely murdered by some horrible monster and, like, hid their baby. And then a Pelo merchant found him and essentially saved his life, right? I love there being a deeper meaning there. I just hate that it was revealed by a random guy going, yeah, that reminds me of the time this young couple, a man and a woman, were young and definitely had a baby with them. A little baby with green hair. Got murdered by a giant monster. And they hid the baby. They hid the baby in the tree trunk and were like, oh, go find this baby later. Oh no, we're gonna get murdered now. Like, you know, like, it was very, like... It wasn't obviously that bad. But, like, it was very, like, in your face with, the explanation of it. Like, I would have greatly preferred things to have been a bit more ambiguous. You know, we get this suggestion that, hey, maybe they didn't abandon him. Maybe there was something else at play here. And it could have just been as easy as, like, again, like, you know, the chief being like, wait, didn't one of these monsters come through here, like, 20 years ago? And, somebody's like, yeah, they came through and destroyed an entire village. And then Kona could think, like, I wonder if that's maybe what happened to me. We'll never know for certain, but, you know, I've moved past, like, this desire to be, like, claimed by my parents who are more than likely dead, right? Or alive, but I don't really know for certain, but I'm ready to move forward regardless, right? Like, I think that'd be very compelling. I think that'd be way better than, again, a guy just telling us everything. And just, again, very randomly, just like this dude shows up and is like, oh, yeah, I think that's what happened. And then we get, like, these kind of images of the same thing. Almost feels like the two options for 7.0 quest in this own, and then put one in 7.0 and the other here. Yeah. Yeah. No, I would probably agree with that. So it's like, the quest itself I think could have been much better if the story had been largely the same, you just presented the information in a different way. And like I said, that's kind of my issue with it. It's not that, like, oh, this is really random. It's that, like, oh, like, hey, why tell us like that? Like, you know, you guys have probably heard the age-old writing advice of show, don't tell, right? You've probably heard that. Well, that is generally a fact there. Sometimes there are exceptions, but just yammering information to people is generally just a bad idea. It's usually a bad idea. And that's kind of what it felt like. We could have even had, like, a really compelling Echo Vision, you know? Because then that would have explained, again, why Kona would have just never known. Because Kona's been alive a long time. He's also a smart guy. And, you know, he said he's, like, I'm pretty sure he said he looked into, like, his like, history and stuff and, like, couldn't really find anything. So it's like, So, that was my beef. But I like that we're doing some stuff. I like that we're doing some stuff, you know, out in the wild, and we're learning a bit more about Kona. I like that that's going on. It's cool. I like that we're getting sort of our Native American stand-in here, and that things are going fairly well. They've been, I think, fairly respectful so far, which is good. It's just that, like I said, the bit with Kona and like how the information was revealed, I didn't love. Yeah, we do get an echo vision from the Troll Vidral earlier in the MSQ after all. Yeah, why not the monster? Right? That would make sense. That'd be very harrowing, and then, you know, it could reveal the past. So, yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents on it. But if you guys need a proper recap of what we were doing last time on Dawntrail, Final Fantasy XIV, Dawntrail Edition, Eris's big summer vacation. I kind of already summed most of this up, but most of what we did is that after learning that there was a very thirsty lady lusting after Zoral Ja, we were kind of like, okay, well, we need to like go back and like get some stuff ready, and Gumby has to go and like do his Gumby King things. So we'll come back to this because we gotta like analyze some of the data that we found in the spooky Resident Evil zone, which was full of spookiness and despair and a lot of gore. And that place was scary, but we don't really know what was going on, so we just decided that, okay, sure. We'll let Shale analyze this and kind of move on with our stuff at the same time. Air's got a big coat too, but that's because she fought in a gladiatorial arena. That was a different thing. And then we went back home, and then Kona was all like, "I'm Kona, and we got to do some business. We got to do some business back in Zaktaral, right? We're in Zaktaral. Yeah, we're in Zaktaral. Like, oh, we got to do some business over there." And it's like, "Sure do." And then Lamati's like, "I'll come with." And then like Aaronville shows up and is like, "I'm so sexy." Like they gave him a deep V and sleeveless, mostly sleeveless arms. So they made Aaronville sexier than he was before. And Shock. Wait, is it said Shocktaral? I thought that was just the X and B in Jabral. I thought the XB made the sh sound. I have known to be very wrong before though, so. Didn't realize they called it Shocktaral. Huh. Well, moral of the story is, when you get here, and we kind of learned that there's, like, just some general kind of problems happening. Especially since we're trying to get the train back up and moving, but everyone's favorite train people are having problems doing that because, one, it takes a lot to repair a train into train tracks, but also they want to, like, do it respectfully. And one of their big things is that they want the Hetsuro that are out here to not have the buffalo chased off by the sound of the train. There's been some complaints about that before. They did map the train tracks away from the buffalo migrations to help with that, but the buffalo keep moving, or not the buffalo, the Ronik keep moving, and that's becoming a problem, and they don't know what's going on. So we go to the Hetsuro and we're like, "Hey guys, we're not here to cause problems, but what's going on with the Ronik?" And they're like, "God, we have no idea." And we're like, "Oh shit." So we start working with them to figure out what's going on. And the Ronik seem all kind of scared. They're all kind of spooked. They're all kind of spooked. So we do some educational learning with Kona, and we learn about the Ronik, and we learn about the Hetsuro, and that's pretty fun. I always like it when we get to learn about more different kinds of folks, right? Good stuff. And Kona gets to realize, like, wait, maybe it's okay to be tolerant of people whose lifestyles are different than ours. We're like, "Yeah, Kona." Like, oh. And then, ba-dum-bum-ba-bum-bum, disaster. The Roanoke Reaver descends from the mountains. It's a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex with like an Aether shield. What the fuck? Descends from the mountains, and that's what the Roanoke were scared of. Is this great and horrible monster that's been terrorizing the countryside. And the Roanoke run away. We save the ones that can't run away because they're shaken so bad. It's so sad. And then, in order to stop the Roanoke from getting eaten, Kona dives in front of one, gets his glasses broken, which I wonder if they're still broken. They are! That's a good attention to detail. His glasses are still broken. And he goes, "No, you'll not hurt a single Roanoke." As, you know, he faces down the evil Tyrannosaurus Rex Aether monster. So then us, Kona, and Llama team all work to take it down. We do. Kona pulls out a fucking 50 caliber sniper, shoots it through the chest. Good as shit. And then we come back, and then Kona's like, "I've learned to value more of my Hetero heritage, and I'm sorry that, like, you know, I looked down on you guys for this, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I have a new appreciation for you and the Roanoke." And they were kind of like, "Hey, that's great. I mean, we weren't really judging you too hard. We know, like, life's been hard on you. You were abandoned by your family and stuff." And then random merchant guy's like, "Oh, wait, convenient plot exposition." We go, "Oh, okay, problem solved." As we learn that apparently the Roanoke Reaver came by here, you know, a couple decades ago, as it sometimes does, and wiped out a village, and the only thing that was left was but a babe, Kona. So the migratory patterns of the Hetero did not end up causing Kona to be abandoned. It was instead a horrible monster. So, feeling a bit better and a bit sad, Kona goes, "Huh, rough. But also, I am Gulu Jaja's son. I'm no one else's son." And he takes some solace in having some closure on the situation, and that's literally where we left off. Called The Warmth of Family, right? And I think the next conversation is going to be some of that catharsis. So, yeah. That's what we're doing. It was the same one that... That's so we're safe is more than enough. Yep. You're wrong to hope that. In protecting them, we also avenged my parents. It is the least I owe them after all this time. Because they were staying by me as Dawn's servant, the often perfect man beneath the hand. Further our attention to the matter we came to address, shall we? Remove the root cause the Roanoke. My favorite grazing and obtained the tools to devise an additional precautionary measure, a silent whistle, as it were. Emitting pulses if aether strong enough to shy away from the tracks of instinct, not so strong to drive them into a panic. If we can achieve this, it'll be a far sight better than the traditional whistle. More effective and less stressful for the creatures themselves. Yay! Big nod. Finish Lonely Station, we can work with it. Then, Wallaka and his crew will doubtlessly be relieved that we finally have a solution. Hey, dude. Push them all the way. Come and see us again. We very well might. Yeah. So, that's basically what happened. Nothing wrong with that. Though, I guess that's another thing, too. There is, like, a strain... I feel like... What's the right way to put this? Yes, what a refreshing sip of untitled beverage. You don't know what it is. They'll have to sponsor me first. Not that they probably ever will. But they'll have to sponsor me first. Oh no, he's going to hit me. It's the liquefied Toblerone. No, because I think I'd be either getting superpowers or a trip to the hospital if I had that. My liquefied Toblerone. I've never had a Toblerone to this day. I never have. That's all new information for this game. Oh. Also, hi, Kyo. How are you? Oh, oh. And Bub, how are you? Wallaka, my man, the myth, the legend. What was that pose, Kona? I always carry a pair of spectacles or two. It can be difficult to find replacements outside the city. I can't believe how many I went through during the rite of succession. What is that pose? What is that pose? I'm late to shoot because for Gore you start earlier than usual today. Yeah, because I have to end earlier than usual, so I'm trying to wiggle a stream in before I have D&D tonight. So that's kind of the deal, and I think we'll have to do it probably next Friday too, because I think I'm also busy that Thursday. When my Friday's open. And Toblerone is the funky shaped chocolate that looks like mountains. Toblerone looks like this. This is what Toblerone looks like. The wax seal. Or the glue. Not wax seal, yeah, it'd be glue. The glue has completely come undone. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Just all the glue parts are coming undone. It's so silly. Yes, I hope your cooking is going very well. I wish you a merry and delicious cook. No difficulty. Anyway, what's what? Kona, that Kona has proposed? True. I love his little dorky pose. You'll be ready in no time. Please start something. Good news for the railroad, I take it. Or avoiding a predator. Smart ones they are. Kona's not too bad at himself. Oh, it's this whistle idea. Sit tight. Oh, this train on the tracks before you know it. Sit tight? I'd love to sit tight. Thank you. Now, they fucking love trains in this game, so I expect a fully voiced and mo-capped cutscene again.
We're ready to go.
We're ready to go. Hooray! A fully voiced and mocap train. I expect that too. What's that top she has?
She looks as good as new.
I need the bandage top.
If I had time to do a proper job, could have really made her shine. Had to cobble together the exterior with spare parts. We refurbished the interior, though. Not that you can appreciate it from out here. But as far as the Ronek are concerned, we've spared no effort.
Reserved for level 100 blacksmiths, you say? I'm already leveling it. Is there no other way to wear it?
From the ballast to the ties, we've adjusted every bit of the track so she'll run quiet as a field mouse.
You and your crew have worked wonders. Our nation is in your debt.
Nope, it's Ox. Oh.
Come now. If anything, credit's due to Tuliolal. It's thanks to the folk you recruited from every corner of the continent that we were able to get her up and running so quickly.
Wife in the back, train wife in the background.
Besides, the ethereal whistle's the true marvel. And we wouldn't have that without the scales you brought us. However grateful you are, know that we're even more thankful.
Train?
Right. If we're done talking, let's put this train through her paces.
Unless they do that to us. Is it bad if I legit might out of spite level blacksmith then? go, Kona, go! Choo choo. Choo choo. And Lava Tea's waving. Ronick.
There's a Ronick up ahead.
Now, to test our whistle.
August? Say it again. Say it again. I'm gonna test your whistle, Ao.
On it. Just point it in the general direction and...
I like the little beeps it makes.
It's moving away.
Hell yeah.
Meanwhile, our friends over there appear wholly unperturbed.
Why don't we just get in the train with them? Why are we running? I want to be on a train.
With this, we can alert those who wander too close without disturbing the rest of the herd.
A roaring success! In a quiet way, like.
That's why I want to ride on the train again. I don't want it to be a bomb. I want a normal train, not a bomb train. Kinda loving a lie of life true.
Then with your permission, Vow of Reason, the Shock-Tural Railroad is back in service.
She does say Shock-Tural. Okay. Shock-Tural. Don't worry, it'll only be a bomb train if we play the bomb train making song. Light and wonder as we make a bomb. Love gospel beats to make bombs too. And we can come from the dome as they please. Can't wait to spread the word to Alexandria. Everyone here's done. Find people to shock Tural and Raylan and take it from here. Vertigo will gradually return their old habits, and we'll see the many approach.
It's gonna be a blast.
Approaching the tracks. It's good to see that whistle being effective in the meantime, however. A blast? If I'm gonna rebuild the road, I've already returned home, but we can give them a ride someday. True! We need to expand the rail. Expand the rail. I love that. I love that there's a bomb train making song. For a while, they were worried they would never get the railroad running again. Now the test drive was a success, we can breathe easy and start hauling people from to and fro from the dome. Fresh Shaloni, then the Kana. Watch out, Jacques Tural. Here we come. I share the sentiment, but we got a mountain of work ahead of us to ensure smooth operations. Time to get back to it. Yow! What's here all today? I've not gone unnoticed. Once more, I think. Yes, up high light, little bow. Thrown away. She would handle matters in Alexandria, Levity. Daughters. Bye, train fanatics. Bye, Kona. Bye, train gooners. So we can take the train and journey to Castellan again. And Kona was never seen again. Hey, why does Lamati look intense? And why is this called Crossroads? I don't like that. What's gonna happen? This request is the name of the patch. Yeah, I don't like this. Oh, the trail's made some headway now. Regardless, we should spread the word the railroad's been restored to service. Shale, what do you have her working on? Oh, yo, we went to the Resident Evil facility. Oh, Chow's mother. I'd feel the same in his shoes. Have felt the same. The questions are painful to leave unanswered. Ernville, one of your moms is still alive. Oh gosh, look at me like that. Kakiwa we met may have only been a simulacrum, but her memory was real. I didn't see that! He's got a little... They did that on purpose? They did that on purpose, didn't they? I just noticed that! Been there the whole time. Well, I didn't notice. I'm not an Urnville gooner. I understand. I do. I understand. But I'm not like, I don't have the hots for Urnville, so I didn't look him up and down as thoroughly as possible when he first got here. But that's really cute. Also, he's still got the boot on his backpack. Still has the shoes. That's so cute that he's got a little charm of the little drone. I need to search for what she left behind. I guess she left it with me. I'll carry it always. You know, things you're carrying, and Wooklamat is explicitly pointed out. Is that a teeny tiny Kakiwa? Kakiwa? What? No. It's merely a token from Alexandria. Our friends in Oblivion would not take no for an answer. I thought it a good souvenir as any. Whatever you say. For what it's worth, I think it's a nice way to bring her with you on your travel. Yeah, because she just wanted to travel. That's so sweet. Yes, well, you're off to the dome now, aren't you? But I might join you for a while, see if there's aught I can do for people there. Which has changed. Though it is, I still consider it my home. Of course, we can give you the full story on the way. Backpack is infernal. Oh, don't shove her soul in a talisman, that's bad. Don't do that. Me thinks the bun doth protest too much. I agree. The bun do nothing but protest too much. God, you guys know what? Trains are cool. We should do more with trains as a society. Trains are awesome. And it's an ass piss. Ass piss. How dare you raise a hand to fight me? Die. Ow. The ass piss heard you. And Eris jogged all the way to Solution 9. True, I did. Hell yeah. Well, we might as well take a leisurely jog, even though I guess we're... Oh, we're just... Okay, well, I thought we were gonna be, like, out here, but never mind. Dodging every lightning bolt along the way, and I get a really cool sword because of that. Like a really cool sword. Yippee! Yeah, honestly, I am really curious about where the story is gonna go. You know, the first patch is always kind of picking up after the MSQ, but like, what is gonna happen? What are we gonna build up to here in Dawntrail? It has my curiosity. We're learning about Gumby, Golja, right? And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential, but I ultimately don't know where things are really gonna go. And that's exciting. I kind of like that. I feel like some Void stuff's gonna happen, especially with all the Alexandria business and the wormholes and the portals and stuff. I think there could be some connection. If my wife comes back, I'll scream, and also cream, but we'll see about that. I'm waiting for any longer than necessary. He's wearing Kakiwa. It's Kakiwa. That makes me happy. I see research and yeah, you're way back. Huh. I have some memories of that place from my childhood. Exhausted, shall I nip out an energy tonic? Yeah, I'm a little tired. Well, you're going to scream in what now? Ho! You're not supposed to be here. You said you were busy today. But Nomad heard me say something silly and immediately arrives. Teleports, if you will. A simple yet elegant solution. This is the railroad back in operation. Rochelle's nearly finished processing the data. She'll be able to share her findings with us immediately. Imminently. Oh, hi, Ursula. I'm interrupting something, I gather. Why, Ursula? What brings you here? You're a cat. I've seen her through the gate of the Sky Deep Cenote for now, so I'm shifting my investigation to living memory. Well, there, I thought it would do well to have the company of an expert in electro. I'd like to take a closer look at the place myself. I can join you once we're finished here. New ship idea. Yashola kisses her way through every woman she can find. Shale's next. Yashola collecting butch women. I mean, I can't blame her. Mad respect. Oh my god, she's smiling. Oh, lest you fear, I've forgotten. Once I've made my headway with living memory, the key in your keeping shall be the next subject of my scrutiny. Like, I got the key, don't worry about it. Chuckles. Yeah, I bet the key's gonna come into play with the blade.
There was a mountain of data to sift through, much of it tantalizing, I admit.
I love Shale, I love her voice.
But it will take time to fully decrypt everything that piques my interest, so to answer our immediate question, I've been concentrating my efforts on the audio saved by Taishul Jah herself.
Taishul Jah?
While I've not listened to it yet, I have a selection ready for playback. Would you like to hear it now?
I love her voice.
Yes, please.
All right. Several audio files will now play in sequence.
Several audio files will now play in sequence. I don't like the top-down angle. Makes it spooky. Also, Eris, you're looking spooky back there.
My name is Teishalja, and I decided to record this to help me put my thoughts in order, I suppose.
I suppose. Oh, hell yeah, but glad to have you.
Mother? Officially I am. Was a Virgin with the Lance Guard. I was part of a contingent dispatched to Yasulani to hunt a Tural Vidral that was wreaking havoc. After our mission was complete, I elected to remain. It was the perfect opportunity to document the geographic distribution of medicinal herbs in this region. Or so I said when requesting special dispensation. In truth, I could not bear to return to Tuliolal.
I like Teshalja's voice, yeah.
I had hoped to aid Commander Zoralja in the right of succession, but he did not so much as look my way. I was never in contention, of course, one of the nameless many in his army. To go back and face that reality was too much for me, so I ran. And in my cowardice, I stumbled upon this path. A path that changed my life. When the dome appeared, I found myself trapped within and reunited with my commander. How am I to speak of Commander Zoralja? I admired him. His incontestable strength, his unwavering focus. He was a man of great passions. I watched him, captivated by his intensity. From afar, I would not dare approach. And in watching, I came to know him.
Yeah, girl, you need a better taste in men.
His eyes too sought the distance, but not as mine did. He yearned not for another, but something else, beyond the horizon.
Like, I don't know. You know it's bad when me, of all people, are saying, like... You know it's bad when me, of all people's, like... Ugh. Like, oh, girl, I think you need to chill. Also, this is very funny that Shale's like, oh, I found an audio file. And it's just Teshalja being like, man, I want to fuck Zoralja so bad. As presumably her son listens to it like... Like that. I need him so bad, guys, for real. You wouldn't believe me. And, Gulja like, no. She specifically said she did not listen to them. Shale said she had grabbed a bunch of audio files and gotten them ready, but did not listen to them herself. So, presumably, I would just assume she probably listened to, like, the opening line. It was like, okay, the file works. Let's move that then. Maybe she should have. Yes. No, I think that's the funny thing. And she's like, how should I describe? And she's like, okay, the audio file works. And then here it's like, how should I describe Zoralja? And then she goes, And then this continues and she goes, And she right now like, I fucked up. And she just like listened to that first two words and is like, okay, yeah, the file works. And now she's sitting there like, Lamati's gonna turn to look at her like, Shale, and Shale's like, I didn't know. Which is just so funny.
That gaze would never fall upon me. I knew. I knew.
Damn.
The experiment will soon proceed to its next phase, and Winnie does as he promised.
We're gonna fuck.
I will have my heart's desire.
God, this is like... This is awful! This is awful! Yeah, you... Lava T looks at you like,
Today. It should have been today. A new beginning. What I have dreamed of for so long.
Oh? It didn't happen?
I hold a future in my arms. If you could see him, embrace him. Surely that would be enough.
Oh. Oh, fuck. I was right. After all. Ooh. Oh. T. I was right. It's almost as if Zorojah promised sex and I actually... Hang on a second. Actually, hang on a second, guys. I think I'm hearing a siren. Oh, I'm hearing a siren. Hang on. I'm alive! Don't worry, I'm okay. Sirens going off because of wind right now. The wild Sammy senses are tuned to the slightest disturbance in her environment. Yes. Well, there's a chance we're gonna get slammed with some big storms tonight. And I want to make sure that if that's happening, that I am prepared. But our sirens also just go off if there's just high winds. Sammy escaped the vets. Always. So, apologies. Vets here to arrest a lizard for being too horny. Because, yes, when I meant sirens, I didn't mean, like, police, woo, wee, wee, wee. I meant, like, storm sirens. Right. Because I live in the Midwest, and we get bad storms. Often. We get bad weather frequently. Even worse ones. Yeah. So that's why I, was like, I need to go, because I need to check what it looks like. I remember this from when I lived in Minnesota. Yup. And I'm getting here in Colorado. Yeah, lucky. Fun. Well, it's because the Midwest, most of the Midwest is a part of Tornado Alley, right? So tornadoes are a thing. And if you've never dealt with a tornado before, a storm siren. If you've never dealt with a tornado before, you know that's at best, at worst, you have a 10 minutes heads up. You have a 10-minute heads up if a tornado's coming. That's at worst. And that has happened before. I've been in situations where the sirens kicked on. I went, and then it's like, touchdown. I'm like, okay. All right, yep. To the basement I go. Yeah, that's nice, miss. Yeah. At best, you'll have a heads up that the weather is favorable for, a tornado or something. And while I believe we're not in a tornado range right now, there is some severe thunderstorms coming, and, supposedly something called a bomb cyclone. So, yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. If you're like, wow, that's terrifying, Sammy, what's that? Well, I got warned about it at work, so... And then Allstate sent me an email today, and then I was like, oh, okay, I think God herself is trying to communicate to me right now. Yeah. It looks like we're gonna get hit. We'll see, I suppose. Somebody set us up the bomb cyclone. The sound for bomb cyclone is just a smile. Smile, ba da 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 da. Boom. But yeah, it's like a kind of a big windstorm. Because unfortunately, while I don't believe I'm technically a plain state, we are next to the plain states here. And storms just kind of go, oh, look, there's a whole lot of nothing here. That makes me pissed. And so just big fat storms will roll right off the plains and slam into us. Right? So, yeah. Yeah, we don't get those. We get sweeping fires. Yeah. A what? Why is it called that? Well, you see, because it is an explosively large and sudden cyclone. And I don't mean like a tornado, but I mean like a cylindric storm system that moves, and as it peels out, it kind of slaps you with its sort of tendrils. You know what a hurricane is? Now imagine that, but a less rainy, windier version that occurs on land. That's what a bomb cyclone is. Yeah. Small but angrier? Something like that. So yeah. But we've gotten some pretty gnarly windstorms out here before. Things that have taken pretty serious damage. A while back, it's Cyber Spirit Storm 4. We actually got hit with a derecho or two. Do you know what a derecho is? I'll give you a warning. It's bad. So I take storms here. I take severe weather over here pretty seriously. Some of y'all don't necessarily have to deal with that, or some of y'all deal with different types of severe weather, right? Kind of just depends on where you live. So honestly, like, I'd take a blizzard over like a cyclone or some shit. I don't need that. Storm. Yippee, but I'll keep my eye on it. I think we're good though. Now to continue learning about this thirsty lizard who did something.
So full of hope I was. A foolish hope.
Oh. Oh no.
Its scales are blue.
He's your son.
My... No, I can't. I don't know how. How could I? How? To raise a child, be a father. I don't. I can't. No! No! Get it away from me. Get that thing away from me!
It's all right, little one. Papa was just surprised. That's all. He'll come around. We'll be a happy family.
Oh, this sucks.
Kaniloka's shouting for me. The research hasn't been going well. But I can't let him take it out on my baby.
And to clarify, this sucks not in a way that I think the story is bad. This sucks in a like, I feel so sorry for Galulja. That's what I mean.
Hush now, little one. I know just where to hide you.
That's all of them.
So she would have hidden him in... would have hid him in Alexandria.
He was abandoned, the poor dear. We found him in the drift few years ago.
It was never abandoned. Just like Kona. Parallels. Something happened.
We know some manner of accident happened at the facility after this was recorded. Perhaps your mother couldn't come back for you.
Hey, Gololcha.
I'm fine, Lamarchi. Father and mother, they were both so lonely. If we could have been together, maybe they wouldn't have been. But sometimes things don't work out, no matter how hard you try.
That's true.
I can't tell if I'm happier now. But it's better to know, I think. Thank you, everyone.
Still don't know everything. Hugging technology. Ooh, Eris, don't cry. Chat, we gotta talk. We fade to black so we do not see Eris's tears. Eris would have cried there. Oh, man, dude. That's fucked up. So, now, to be fair, Golulja could still be a clone. Right. I'm not necessarily thinking that he is, but I do find that it is interesting that there is not a ton of mention of, like, birth per se. And it's just sort of like, there's a baby now. We know not how she got that baby. I do agree. We don't know exactly how that went down. And I can't decide if it's more fucked. I got that D&D. What we do know that, like, I don't know if it's more fucked up that she, like, cloned a baby, like, made a baby, or, like, they had sex and then she had a child. Right? We don't know exactly how that went. That's what John recorded every second of her laying that egg, including the audio that Shale didn't bother to listen to before playing to Gololcha. I mean, yeah, like we don't know the full context of this because, like, it's obvious that Teshel Jah is thirsty for him, but I think it really is, at least right now, kind of up to your interpretation of what actually happened there. Because, like, did she just want some of his genetic material? Did she want to bone? Did she, and did she just get, like, pregnant out of it, which was, like, her kind of intent? Which, like, no matter how you slice it, yeah, so, and that's the thing, Zoral Jah seemed very surprised. Like, what? All we know is that she wanted Zoral Jah, wanted to be connected to him, and thought a child was the solution. Yes. Did she want to have this kid to kind of force it into a proper relationship with him? Zoral Jah does not know how Babi is formed. I think that's entirely a valid interpretation, but if you think of it in a way where she, like, created the baby, or the idea of a baby was never a part of the deal, I hate to say it, but I feel like Zoral Jaw's a bit justified in being shocked, right? A bit justified in the suddenness of, like, a baby? My baby? What do you mean? Because, like, think about it. Could you imagine being an asshole like Zoral Jaw, and then this lady shows up and is like, "There's a baby of us." Like, what would you do? And that's also a thing. Isn't he supposed to be infertile? Isn't that a detail we learned at the beginning of Dawntrail? That, like, typically, when you do have a children between two separate, like, parents of your, Mumulja, like, parentage, they are infertile. And, sometimes you produce the blessed sibling, like the two-headed one. Blessed siblings are supposed to be infertile. Okay, right, because Gulajaja was the... Because Zoral Jaw was the miracle. Right. Right. I forgot about that. Gulaja wasn't infertile for whatever reason. Right, okay. Yeah, because that is crazy fucked up for Zoral Jaw to be like, wait, I'm a father, and then surprise baby upon ye. Like, but also, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, like, sparing Zoral Jaw any flack here. He should have, I don't know, he should have done something different. He had a whole meltdown over it, and that wasn't great. And I do like that this was never kind of a part of their deal, as it would be implied. Like what Nova just said. He's an asshole for a lot of reasons, but intentionally bringing a child in the world to immediately reject and neglect is not one of them. Zoral Jaw, quite literally, never wanted Gululja, and it is kind of implied he would have never actually legitimately suspected the fact that Gululja would have existed. Right? Like, there's no reason he would have seemingly expected for this to have happened. Which means, yeah, she kind of went behind his back and did this. Whatever way she did it, we'll see. But, like, that also, like, to talk about Teshel Jaw, damn, girl. Stop. Have better taste in men. And, yeah, also, isn't having sex with somebody with the intent of having a baby kind of fucked? Yeah. Because, realistically, she either tricked him into impregnating her, or she was able to sort of cobble together some genetic material to create, Gululja. It is bananas fucked to trick someone into, like, having a baby. That's insane. That's crazy, right? Like, that is not a good thing. And Teshel Jaw was just very lonely, so she saw the only way to sort of get him, the only way to get him to pay attention to her is to essentially be like, look, we have a baby together. Isn't that crazy? I guess we'll have to raise the baby. Which, that was never going to work, because she says she watched him from afar and she came to know him. Bitch, like, no, you didn't know him. You did not know him. At all. And he didn't really know you either, and didn't want to know you. And it also kind of completely explains Zoral Jaw's behavior with Gululja growing up and Zoral Jaw wanting nothing to do with him, because because Zoral Jaw doesn't know what to fucking do with Gululja. He's just like, whoa, you're this baby child boy, what the hell happened? And that's why at the end he's just like, alright, yeah, this is my legacy. You can take a hold of it or spurn it. I don't care. I guess it's yours now. I came to know him, says the woman who didn't even know about his hang-ups around his dad. Real. Is the epitome of building up a version of someone in your head and never actually knowing them? Yes. It is parasocial. It is absolutely parasocial. She had this idea of who he was. And was like, excellent. It's like, stop. Don't do that. God. Heaven help my heart. Oof. Heaven help my everything. I'm checking the weather again. But like for real, like you can't do that to someone. Oof. I can't believe there's a situation where I actually feel bad for Zoralja in some way, because that is a messed up situation, yeah? In conclusion, I'm sorry, Gololja, both of your parents were fucked up people. Yep. But I think it's really interesting because, like, to throw out my delicious parallels, there is a lot about adopted children within Dawntrail. We talk about, Dawntrail is about many things. It is about death, it is about family, but it is also about the legacy of, oh, he's sad about Kakiwa. It was also about the legacy that family leaves, right? There are a lot of parents in Dawntrail. Did you ever notice that? There's Zoralja, there's Gololjaja, there's Kakuiwa, right? A lot of parents. And then we also have a lot of adopted children. Gololja, Lama T, Kona are all adopted. And their relationships with their original parents are all different and all kind of interesting. You have, like, Lama T, like, through, unwanted circumstances being forced to meet sort of her birth father, and the birth father, again, not wanting to reveal that, but being forced to, and Lama T's reaction kind of being like, hey, I'm sure you had a good reason. I know you had a good reason. I don't really consider you my father, but keep on keeping on. And he was kind of like, yeah, same. I'm just happy that you're okay. And they kind of part, right? Because you know, you kind of had this this bit of Lama T sort of choosing to kind of just be like, okay, well, you're not really my dad because you didn't raise me, and I mean, I appreciate you and whatnot, but like I'm not like, there's not an attachment here. It's like, okay, move on. Then you have Kona, who never knew his birth parents, but we learned about them a bit here, and it's like, oh, well, they're probably dead, so I'll never have a relationship with them. But it's not as though they abandoned me. But also still, I am Gololjaja's son, and thus I'm, you know, I must kind of move forward. I can't choose to have a relationship with those parents. It's kind of out of my hand, right? Then you have Bakuljaja, right, who had two parents who did raise him, and it didn't go well. Right, and it didn't go well. He's got some hang-ups with his parents, but also they're supposedly trying a bit better now. So that's good. And then, ultimately, you have Gumby. You have Gololja, right? And Gololja was born to, as we now know, two parents that was not a good situation with what happened there, and was thus kind of abandoned. Kakiwa sort of took him in, and so did Obsidian, and, you know, takes a village to raise a kid. A bunch of them work together to kind of help make him, to help him be happy and healthy, right? And you also have Kakiwa, who was a single mother. I disagree. She's a lesbian, with a girlfriend, and her sort of being the penultimate figure of kind of really unprepared to have a child. Like, she was young and she was not ready to have a kid, but she kind of had one anyway. And given that Urnville does not know who his father is, and that there's been hardly any mention of his father whatsoever, we can kind of mention he's just simply not in the picture, right? But Ayate is, so lesbians. But more of the story being, there's a rocky relationship there. Really the only good relationship between parent and children that we see is Kona and Lamati with Gulu Jaja. That is the only actual good, healthy relationship we see between parents and children. But we see a lot of really messy ones, and they're all messy in different ways, which is really interesting. And it's really interesting that Dawntrail plays with this idea of family and sort of asks us and poses this question of what is family? And that's very interesting, right? We even see, you know, Zoral Jaw's obsession to prove the miracle to kill his father. Gulu Jaja's sadness over being sort of forced to kill his son, so to speak. And from what we know, Gulu Jaja was not a bad father to Zoral Jaw. We really don't know much about that situation. I'm assuming we'll probably learn a bit more, but we don't know a lot about it. Half of Zoral Jaw's life both had their own ambitions, where Zoral Jaw was just a piece on the board instead of a person that were an equal. So he was treated like a tool, right? Gulu Jaja likely wasn't equipped to deal with what was going on in his head. Likely, but we don't know. Like, we truly just don't know. But I really like... Oh, and then another parental thing. Namika and Lamati, right? Namika raising Lamati and her referring to her as mother. Lamati referring to her as mother. That's another one. Also adopted. But I really like the emphasis on family, because I love the emphasis on, like, family does not have to be blood, and family can be a whole bunch of people, right? Like, family can be, this very diverse and complex kind of thing, and that's really interesting. I like that a lot. I love Dawntrail's themes. Dawntrail's so cool. I love Dawntrail. Good stuff. And sometimes despite having a king and loving parents, some kids just come out off. Maybe. You know. I think of the right word. Well, you know, like I said, we don't know enough about Gulu Jaja and Zoral Jaw's relationship, but it's entirely possible that, like, Gulu Jaja did a fine job, but Zoral Jaw was sort of messed up by other outside experiences. Would estrogen have fixed Zoral Jaw? Maybe. But yeah. I mean, there is a ton about parents, family, and children, adopted and not adopted, in Dawntrail. It's a lot, and I think that's really cool. I think that's genuinely super cool. Final Fantasy should do more with that, because family is a big thing. Even if you don't, you know, want to admit it, but, like, it's a big deal in, like, FF14. And found family, and so many issues. I love Dawntrail. Dawntrail's great, guys. So interesting. Dawntrail, get behind us. Mr. Trek, you ask. Can I be certain? I believe Tasha just simply wanted to know how she felt. Understand? Records as well. I'll pile them for Golja. Perhaps something in them will be of comfort. Shale, maybe not. No more about my parents than now I do, and I don't regret it. I love Lamati and Kona and you. I'm not lonely now. Kind of hard to believe, but until the right of succession, Zoral Jaw was a good brother to me. Always. I thought Papa was the best father anyone could ask for. See, and this is interesting too. Like Lama T has good memories of Zoral Ja. Like, and this is the thing that's interesting. Like, why did he turn out this way? Did Zoral Ja just really get in his head that bad? Did other people get in his head that bad? Because like Lama T is talking like he was always a good brother to her, and I would have loved to have seen more like sibling interactions between Zoral Ja, Kona, and Lama T. Like, but like, what happened? You know? And I thought Papa was the best father anyone could ask, right? Zoral Ja's mom might have been the precursor. You know, that is a good point. That's kind of a missing link. That we don't know anything about Zoral Ja's mom. And Nomad, that's a good point. Could Galulja have had him asexual? No idea. Interesting. Sometimes lizards do just do that. I want to think the time we spent together as family was alive, but by the same token, the bitterness my brother harbored was all too real. Head of wisdom is femme? No, it's the head of resolve, obviously. The blessed siblings are off in general. No, I don't disagree. The dominant appeared to so Ja's tale would have been very different, yet whether or not she would have been happier, I cannot say. What a mess. And Geode's like, oh, that's fun. It's better to know. A profound response for one so young. Yeah, isn't it kind of funny how Galulja has had to grow up so quickly? I wish he didn't have to be. Galulja was indeed wise beyond his years. Yet one never outgrows the need for dependable companions. It's fortunate that he has you. And kind of what, you know, Y'shtola is saying here, it's like, we all need family. We all need capable people by our side. Thank you, Shale. Because of you, I got to hear my mother's whole story. I think there's still more to it, buddy. You heard it because you're brave enough to listen, Galulja. Remember one thing, remember that. And then, having shared what I can at the present, ready to head to the living memory when you are? I'm planning to be thorough, so we need to stop for supplies on the way. I said I promise we won't remain over long. I know we all have much more to attend to. For now, farewell. Also, hi Sylvie, how are you? Yes, your Stola is adorable, or so they say. And I agree with you, August. Word before you leave. Norwood's already spreading word of the railroad. We expect people to be clamoring to get the first train back. Direction's been the polar opposite. Scan few seem inclined to depart at Alexandria anytime soon. What? When we spoke before, you said many from Tuliolala were eager to reunite with friends and family. Maybe they're concerned about getting through the vanguard? If so, we could take turns accompanying them. In any case, we need to speak with the people ourselves. Let's start with the Leno 9. Recovering from an attempt to play a game I once had high hopes for. Oh no, what game? And they'll be sure to pass it on. Andrew can help out. One of those sudden change of heart. Did you visit Tuliol? It'd be nice to see Kona again as well. Venture out over there herself. Remember, pack your bags as much as possible. Get bothered. Made the mistake of trying Dragon Age the Veilguard. Really? Interesting. My roommate's playing it and she's enjoying it. But I've heard mixed reviews. I want to give it a whirl at some point. Well, Jaja being a good dad, sometimes adopted children have a better view of their parent because they're getting more attention. Perhaps Earl Jaw saw that and sort of being distancing himself because he thought he wasn't loved despite being a true-born son. I mean, you have a good point, Nomad, but we just don't know, right? it could be so many things, you know? That is a good point. Like, there could have been some kind of dynamic between the siblings, and maybe Zoraljah's sort of, like, responsibility, the weight of that older sibling responsibility, right? He may have felt the pressure to mature quickly, and then on top of that, to prove the miracle, like that kind of stuff, right? And then maybe he was really hurt by the idea of the competition for the crown, that, like, anyone could participate for the crown, when he was like, no, wait, this was supposed to be for me, right? Maybe he was really hurt by that. But we also just don't know. We just don't know. I heard it's a very divisive game. Oh, it's raining. Oh, it's raining. Hang on, chat. Oh, it's raining. I look out the window. Batten down the hatches. Prepare for the storm. Damn. Look at the radar again. Stay safe, not the ominous rain. Is that hail? Oh, hang on, chat. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. It's hailing. I guess we'll see how bad it is. These waves, these tides. All hail, the gang's all here, storm now. God. Also, hi Anarchy, how are you? Hope you're having a good afternoon, gamer. Fellow gamer. Why am I so pale? Oh, right, because the little, like, the, like, weather radar is like a bright white page. Well, okay. Interesting. Let's just see where we're at right now. Okay. Male girls are the cutest girls. Hey, I'll have you know that I like all women. Okay. Well, okay. I mean, well, then it's storming. People screaming from the rain. Anyway, sorry, that interrupted us horribly. What I was saying is, one, yes, we just don't know about the Gulajah versus Zoraljah situation, which, Sylvia, I'm sure that's not your intention. But, I mean, I feel as though there's a bad way to interpret what you're saying. And I'm sure that's not your intention, but I feel the need to point it out, as we are in an imperfect platform of communication known as Twitch. There's nothing wrong with being pale, but, you know, anytime people start mentioning, paler complexions being better than others. You get where I'm going? You get where I'm going? Yeah, no, I'm sure that wasn't your intention. I feel the need to point that out. I was just getting blasted by a white computer screen. I'm having the same reaction I did a few weeks ago when we had a tornado going through and sitting on raid night. Yep. Sorry about that. Stay strong, Keo. But, I mean, look, storms are kind of a normal thing over here. But, yeah. You heard what I said. Basically, we don't know enough about Golojaja's situation and Zoralja's situation. There's a lot of theories, and there's a lot of possibilities. And I do like talking about it because it's an interesting topic. If we never learn, I think that could be interesting, but it would be nice to have a bit more context just for the sake of, like, it is kind of really important for the story. So we'll see. I don't know. Shrug. And Dragon Age. People were talking about Dragon Age too. I honestly wouldn't mind getting Dragon Age and just streaming it and just seeing how it goes. I like to form my own opinions, of course. I'm not here to have a YouTuber tell me what my opinions are. But I've heard pretty mixed things about it overall. I've heard it's got like the best combat the series has ever had by like a lot, but that its writing took like a hit for it. You really like it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, that's fair, Anarchy. Free on PlayStation right now. Low stakes, but fun. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. And that is correct, Sam. And hello, Sal. How are you? Yeah, I might play it. I might stream it too. I feel like the D&D movie is very much in the same vein of that. I did like the D&D movie a lot. Which I can understand why Dragon Age fans would not be happy with a game like that. But quite unfortunately for Dragon Age fans, their game has never had a good identity because it's continually changed from every single game. Because they can't seem to make a decision. Unlike Mass Effect, which has had a very solid identity, at least for the trilogy. So, okay, you should voice of Microsoft talking about their transgender is pretty peak. True. That's pretty peak. That's pretty cool. I've acquired Bat Dad. Oh, do you have a high Spain? One consistent thing about Dragon Age is its inconsistency. You betcha, baby! They cannot decide what to do with that franchise. And I guess they're just not going to do anything with it anymore, so that's cool. Because EA/BioWare is like, kept doing dumb shit and shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. Look, I'm out watching Eris hop around everywhere. True. I mean, there are 4 D&D movies, allegedly, but I think Anarchy was referring to the more recent one, Femro Enrichment. Dragon Age's identity of brown, unfinished, single-player MMO, cancel hero shooter. Yeah. Woo. Which is a shame. Dragon Age has always been a series that's had like so much potential, and I don't know. I just feel like none of the games have ever like actually reached that. Or just wasn't that brown? Y'all were just stuck in the deep roads. Sounds like a brown game defender. Sounds like a military shooter brown defender. That's my hot take for the day. I'll just have a Hasmai. Hell yeah. My hot take for the day. Nah, I mean, look, if I were to pick any beef I have with Origins, it's not necessarily that it's brown, but have you guys ever played that game? It's terrible. And I don't mean the story, I mean play. I mean the part where you play the game, the gameplay. Have you played the gameplay? It aged like meat, it aged like milk. Oh man. It's not great. And honestly, I hate to say it, but 2 is also plays pretty bad. 2 also does not play well. Inquisition played okay. Inquisition played okay. Right. Could have been better. And it's kind of funny because I almost feel like if we compare these 4 games side by side, it is almost a sliding scale of story. Like the story gets worse as the gameplay gets better type of deal. Except I would feel like off the cuff, I feel like DA2 had the best story. You know. So like, I don't know, that's kind of a contentious opinion too, right? Inquisition was good for about 3 minutes until Witcher 3 stole its launch. Don't mind me. I thought Inquisition was good. I thought it was a fine game, you know? Orange was CRPG using the same engine as KOTOR. Still did not play well, though. #1 rule of a DA game, wizards forgot a piece of magic. True. But DA is an interesting series because, like I said, I do think Dragon Age's biggest problem is just that the games can't decide what they want to be, right? Every DA game has drastically changed things kind of from the last one. And they really can't decide what they're meant to be. Are they a CRPG? Are they like an adventure game? Are they like an action RPG? Are they, you know, some kind of like narrative turn-based game? Are like, well, they just can't figure it out. Meanwhile, like Mass Effect, a direct comparison because it's made by BioWare. Dragon Age's biggest problem is EA. That is true. Yes, like yes, that is true. But you know what I mean. Because ultimately the reason why they can't decide is because yes, the EA won't let them make a decision. But Mass Effect had a very consistent identity from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, right? I really haven't even played those games, but I have. But like the 3 of them are pretty consistent in what they are, and they present a consistent story in a trilogy format. There are hitches in the story, of course, but the identity of Mass Effect is consistent. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting, and you know what kind of story you're getting, because the story continues. Each DA game is wildly different, and to say that the story continues, there's a story that goes between the games is kind of true, but it's also kind of not. And I do think one of the reasons why Dragon Age 2 went as well as it did is because it told a smaller, more compact story that wasn't so wrapped up in the great and grand lore and the grand scheme of everything. It was like we are you know, it is this city, right? We are trying to focus on this story in this place and trying to do stuff here. They limited their scope, and I think that really helped them out a lot. I think that's also a problem sci-fi fantasy, and especially fantasy, and fantasy especially has, and you can see this in novels, video games, movies, etc., where they want to do something so big, but they don't really have a good reason to. And because they're trying to make something so huge, it's a mile wide and it's an inch deep, a la Skyrim, the Skyrim problem. Mile wide, inch deep. Like that's kind of the problem. And I do think Dragon Age as a series and as sort of a story suffers from that a little bit, right? They want to do so much with all their lore and all their stuff. I mean, that's great. It's interesting, but like they can't pull it off. It's too much. And I think that's part of Inquisition's problem. Because Inquisition does try to go for a really big story, and it kind of stumbles. It does a pretty good job, I think, all in all. But there are definite parts of the game where you're like, whoa, what happened here? The Winter Palace. You know. Yeah. People remember Inquisition for Kofafir. Justice could end up like Cole, but no. Stilgar was meant to be the end, I think. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, it's kind of a. I remember a DA2 for Corcus of Ophelia. Kakarot. So it's hard to say, but like that is one of the reasons why I think people are really attached to sort of the companions and the character writing that exists within Dragon Age, because that's been generally consistently good. And if that took a hit in Veilguard, I can really understand why people would be upset. But I guess they sacrificed on that on the altar for the sake of good gameplay, which I don't know, they needed that too. Ultimately, I'm far more upset that EA has basically just decided to kind of say, yeah, we're not going to do anything Dragon Age again. Because even if Veilguard isn't perfect, if you consider it, like, they could have made, like, if they're using this kind of engine, if they're using this kind of gameplay, if they're taking what they learned from Veilguard, they could have made a really good game for Dragon Age 5. Right? But, of course, every game has to make $10 billion immediately the first day it's released, and if it doesn't, it's a total failure. You know? And, like, that's the problem, because I don't think Veilguard even sold poorly, but it's just like, well, FIFA this year underperformed, so we're destroying Dragon Age. And it's like, yeah, sure. Might as well happen. But Sam, you didn't make me $10 quadrillion and buy me 3 more yachts, so it has no potential. You're right. Anyway, isn't it kind of interesting that Mass Effect took this till its second game to get really popular? That's kind of wild. Or how Call of Duty took, what, I don't know, 5 games to get wildly popular? Isn't that kind of strange? Wow, that's so weird. They made 5 games and then it got really big. Man, that would never happen today. Witcher starts at 3. True. You know how Witcher 3 made Witcher wildly popular? It wasn't Witcher 1 or 2. In fact, Witcher 1 kind of sucks. But, like, they made another game. And then they made another game. And it worked out. Because it's like if you have creative people, if you have developers, and these people work on a project, and the project's okay, those people then have the experience when they make a second version of the project to get better at it, right? And then if they make a third version of that project, oh my god, they have even more experience. Whoa, that's crazy. It's like if you build your team appropriately, then eventually you're going to be kind of raking in the dough because you have the expertise, right? Because you've learned from mistakes that you've made. Isn't that crazy? But I'm sure there's no example of that happening. Yeah. Monster Hunter took 6 games before it got popular. Baldur's Gate 3, need I say any more? You know, Call of Duty. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you. Already laying off 2 studios. Fuck. Or one of my favorite examples, 2 of my favorite game studios. 2 of my favorite game studios. Don't can projects and fire people out the willy-nilly. Versus From Software, you know Dark Souls? That game was pretty good. Do you know how many games they made before Dark Souls? And better yet, let's not even talk about Dark Souls. Let's talk about Elden Ring. Elden Ring. We all know Elden Ring. It sold a fuck ton of copies. At least 25 million? That's insane! And do you know how many games From Software made before Elden Ring? Like, including all of the Dark Souls, the Demon Souls games, the Kingsfield games, Bloodborne, like, all these games that, like, while did increasingly get better and build in popularity and build in their sort of player base, they were not Elden Ring. Nothing's ever sold like Elden Ring for From Software. But you know what From Software did? When they released Armored Core 5 and it went, okay. They didn't get rid of all the devs. They went, maybe we'll make another Armored Core game, but we're gonna focus making this like Dark Souls, what was Dark Souls 2 at the time? we're gonna focus making a sequel to Dark Souls, because that game sold pretty well. Oh, 2 did really well too. Okay, let's make a Dark Souls 3 game, kind of return formula. Okay, well, let's end Dark Souls because that stuff went pretty well, but it was never really intended to be a series. Let's do Bloodborne. Oh, that game was pretty popular. What else can we do? Let's do something big. Let's do something different. Let's take what we learned and adapt that. Elden Ring. And then it was a brilliant, star-studded success. And then because of that success, they went, hey guys, it's time to make another Armored Core game. And the Armored Core devs were like, we're still here. They didn't get rid of us. Or my second example, another favorite studio of mine, Atlas. Atlas. These are the people who make Persona, or Metaphor. Atlas, who's had the same UI team, the same dev UI team, sans a couple of people, for about 20 years. For about 20 years, they've had the same UI team. And I think we can pretty much say that Atlas's UI is basically the best in the business. I don't think anyone can beat it, right? They're so fucking good at it. And that's because they didn't destroy their team because Persona 1 didn't sell amazingly, right? Like, crazy. They've had the same team. And then likewise too, their Persona teams. It really took till Persona 3 for the series to get popular, and I would even go as far as to say it took till Persona 5 for the series to really rake in the dough, right? It took till Persona 5 for it to become like mainstream. And like, look at what they're doing. The Persona 3 Reload, vastly improved. Metaphor is an amazing game. Like, they're learning from their mistakes because they're allowed to make mistakes. So therefore games are able to get better because people are allowed to fail and then try again. You never make perfection on your first fucking try. That just doesn't happen. Even with Baldur's Gate, it took them years and years and years in early access to figure out Baldur's Gate, and that was the third game. They already had a formula to go off of from Larian, an experienced dev of making CRPGs in the same style. They made 2 Divinity games before they made Baldur's Gate. Like, you can't just make the billion-dollar game. It just can't happen. Or even another example, Nintendo, right? Everyone loves Nintendo, mostly. But Nintendo treats its devs pretty well, and it doesn't fire them willy-nilly, even if a game doesn't do well. And now Nintendo just pumps out consistently great games, right? There are other things to criticize them for, but like, they even, like, they just try to avoid laying people off at all costs, which is a good idea. Yes, Mags, I can tell. Capcom is arguably the best game comeback in modern gaming. I would believe that. Yeah, because Capcom was not in a good state a while ago. But now Capcom is what? They have like 3 multi-million-dollar game series titans in like Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, and Resident Evil. And that's on top of like other games that they help make and publish too. Yeah, the Nintendo CEO taking a pay cut to avoid layoffs. Yeah. Monster Hunter Worlds and Resident Evil 7 brought them back in a way that very few publishers rebounded. Even Cherry was running out of money. It's just the version of Holly No people remember is after several years of free updates and bug fixes. Like, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Or even like another example, Supergiant Games, the people who made Hades. Hades was just this explosively good roguelike game. How many other games did Supergiant make before Hades? Like, you gotta let teams work. You gotta let them cook. Nintendo also doesn't pump 20 million into AAA games that become nearly impossible to break even on. That's also a thing, too. If you make a game that costs, I don't know, let's say $400 million. $400 million. And then it takes 8 years for it to come out. After its fad has passed, gets released for a week and then closes down in a week. You're not fucking breaking even. There's no way you're breaking even on that game. Now, where was a real-life example of that? Surely no one would do that. 400 million for 1 week! Like... Jesus. They either perfect them or do their own thing. Needs to be room for teams to make games that are just keep things going rather than being instant, like, gangbusters. And that's kind of why you see, like, the gaming industry is kind of crumbling right now. And sorry, I know we got really distracted from the MSQ, but I think talking about the game industry is really important. And I feel like some level of responsibility for, you know, especially for how much we play video games and talk about video games and stuff. And we don't talk about this a ton, but, like, you know, the game industry is a terrible place right now. It is a terrible nightmare world of constant layoffs and removal of talent and layoffs and games going bust and studios having issues. Like, there's been so many issues, and the gaming industry is probably going to collapse under its own weight, right? We're gonna see a big game come out like Elder Scrolls 6 or like GTA 6, right? That's gonna come out and it's not gonna do as well as they want it to, because they're gonna pour $500 million into it, and it's only going to make $300 million, right? And that's gonna cause probably just a titanic collapse. It's gonna there's already a domino effect happening, but that's gonna make the snowball get bigger, right? It's gonna sell 2 billion copies and still be a massive failure, and that's because they just can't recoup the money, right? The bubble is bursting. It is already bursting, right? They can't do it, because the problem is, whether nobody wants to admit it or not, but video games are art. And like all good art is not there to shell out dollar, right? Art can make money, but the point of it is not to scoop in massive capitalistic, like, mother loads of cash. And it never will, because there's always a limit on that sort of thing. How many people are able to buy your game? How many people want to buy your game? People can just not buy your game, right? And that's kind of the problem, is like, you know, that's why they're talking about GTA 6 costing $100 for the base game. Exactly, Sylvie. It's because they're going to be like, GTA 6 is $100, and you're going to see a lot of fucking people just go, oh, I'm not going to buy it then. You're going to see a ton of, if it's that expensive, people are just going to be like, nope, I won't buy it. I'm like, they're not going to. And like, crazy. That's insane, you know? Like, and like, you just can only get so much. The game industry spent a decade exploiting what was basically meant to financial hack to get free money. Infinite free money, which was how they were funding stupid ideas like spend $400 million in 8 years on a game that gave up on its release week. That financial hack is now gone. The giant swaths of gaming publishing no longer know how to function without it. Yeah, because they can't just throw money at it anymore. They have to recoup their money some way, and they have to make games. They have to actually put out games. Games that people want. Games that people can play. You know? And that's why we're seeing studios like Larian, a small independent studio, come out with Baldur's Gate 3. Smash success. Just utter smash success, right? That's because they're not following the trends of the industry. That's why we see Supergiant doing the same thing. That's why companies like FromSoft and Atlas and Nintendo are largely unaffected by the same problems, is because they're not doing the same shit. They're just making art. They're just making their little art, letting their artists art, right? You know? And it also helps too that gamers are just not like, gamers just don't really care. Like, if you're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna make an Amazon game store to compete with Twitch, we're gonna pour like hundreds of millions of dollars into this game store. Wait, why does no one want to use it? It's like, you don't want to. And they're like, wait, no, well, but we put all this money into it. It's like, and? Oh goody. Like, just industry executives simply don't understand how the industry works, and when they don't understand it, unfortunately, it ruins a lot of people's lives, ruins a lot of people's careers, but it ultimately just causes the collapse of an industry that didn't need to happen. And even saying a collapse is kind of, you know, auspicious, because it's not like FromSoft's gonna stop making games, right? Or Nintendo. Exactly, Nova. Exactly. No. Yeah. And it's just like, and they're you know, we're probably gonna just see this continue until, like I said, we have like a really big game fail massively, and then they're just gonna fucking fire everything, investors are gonna pull out, and then it's just gonna be like, you know, there's gonna be a wasteland where you have like several studios that just never followed the trend and thus didn't collapse, but then the rest are all gonna be like a hollow shell. My money's on GTA 6. I really think it could be GTA 6. I think GTA 6 is probably gonna be the powder keg. Because didn't they say that this is like gonna be one of the most expensive games ever produced? Like, I think I'm remembering a $500 million price tag that like in terms of funding, which I could be super wrong on that. But I also think they're forgetting that GTA 5 made a lot of its money online through its shark card stuff, which was basically like free money, right? Yeah, one of the big AAA companies is just going to implode and vanish practically overnight before this is over, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, game industry is wild, but we should finish this NSQ. But that was a good discussion. Those are important to have. We gotta go to Praxis Park. We gotta go see what the people are up to. Hamati, what's your opinion on the game industry? Everyone is sad.
People look uneasy. Did something happen?
Have you heard? Someone was killed in the Thunder Yards.
Panic. Why is there a child
The
here?
Thunder Yards was one of the hunters slain by a beast.
I'm glad you like my Fenrir, Sylvie. Eris is great.
It was a hunter, all right, and a veteran at that. But it was no fiend that did him in. Only a random bolt of lightning.
Such a senseless way to die. They say that he expended his last soul cells during Zoraljar's attack on the city.
For an upright, hard-working man to meet such an unceremonious end, it feels wrong.
But we'll be fine, won't we? Even if the system no longer erases our memory of the departed, the regulators continue to function. I shan't go before my time. Growing old and passing peacefully with the help of the ushers is only natural.
Huh.
Well, you may think so, but how are we to know? We have no memory of those who have gone. More may have met violent deaths than passed from old age, and we would be blissfully unaware.
Hey, that's part of the problem with the system. Yeah.
It could happen to you, or me, to any of us.
Don't scare the child.
Then what are we to do? Spend every waking moment thinking only of how we might die?
They are having a crisis. They are.
With time, I had hoped that they'd be able to adjust to their new situation. But it's only gotten worse.
Look! It's Queen Sphene!
Wait, you're supposed to be dead!
What?
What?
Help, Queen Sphene! The grown-ups are really upset, and I don't know what to do.
Here's how the tragic Yuri can still win.
I see that you are as kind-hearted as ever, Nico. Never fear. I'm here to set things aright.
Fuck? What the fuck? Oh, this isn't the real Sphene.
I don't understand. Sphenes is gone. Forever.
Elizabeth. Somehow Sphene has returned.
You there,
Unless...
Gussin. You were the Queen's aide, weren't you?
Unless...
What's the meaning of this?
Begging your pardon, Vow of Resolve. But Her Majesty Queen Sphene is paying visit to her people, as is her wont.
So the Dusk White's evil, huh? They made the Dusk White evil, huh?
What are you talking about? Sphene is dead. You officiated the funeral yourself. We all placed flowers to mourn her passing.
A funeral? For Her Majesty?
No. Okay, no. He's not evil. Wait for it. Oh no! It's someone else! Cause they got the regulators! They don't know! Oh. Remember how I said that you can just fuck with people's memories all you want?
What a curious jest. You know full well that ceremony was to commemorate those lives lost during the attack of Alexandria.
You know full well it was to commemorate the lives lost during the attack on Alexandria. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. But no, literally, when we first met these guys, I was like, wait, having things that like constantly just manipulate your memory is terrible because somebody could just get in there and just fuck with your memory and you could do nothing about it. And crazy, because that's what's happening.
Her Majesty walks among her people that she might support them in this most trying of times. Surely that is not cause for consternation.
Yeah, Gussin has no idea. He's not evil, he just doesn't know.
Your Majesty, won't you free us from these terrible memories of the departed?
But if their memories never went into the system, you can't delete them. And that's part of the problem, I'm sure
This
they're
is
having.
no way to live. Not for us, nor our children.
Not for the children.
I wish that I could. Truly I do. But with living memories shut down, even I cannot restore the system that once afforded us that comfort.
Right, and also living memory doesn't.
You needn't fret, however. I have prepared an alternate solution. All of us shall be made endless.
No! No! What?
I
Eris
have
and Lava Tea,
created a new system that allows you to transplant your memories directly into an ethereal vessel. One not reliant upon soul cells.
This is gonna turn everyone into robots. We should all die.
This way, You need never again fear death. You may live as you please, and for as long as you like.
This isn't
Our
Sphenes.
stores of ether are, at present, not sufficient to provide this boon to everyone.
Okay, but you're not gonna do War Part 2, right?
But some of you received Neo-Regulators for the funeral ceremony, did you not?
Hey, I don't like where this is going. I don't like
And
where this is
there
going.
are still more we have yet to distribute. 5,000 in all.
Guys, I don't like where this is going. Guys, I don't like where this is going.
One day soon, those with Neo-Regulators will be called to join the Endless, and thence be free of suffering forevermore.
They're just gonna kill them. They're just gonna kill them and wipe their memories. Like, oh my god.
But only 5,000 of us?
You Victral!
Oh, Llama T girl, calm down. You vitriol! Damn, that growl came out of her.
The real Sphene would never be content to save only some of her people. Who are you?
Not a good time to have this kind of freak out, but I mean, this is worth it.
I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
I am Sphenes. I don't like that. I don't like this. I'm glad she cleared that up. Take a deep breath. We need to go back and think about this.
Let's return to the back room. I need to calm down, and then we'll talk.
Eris is so beautiful. It's gonna look at us again, isn't she? A ghost in the system. No. Oh, this is a hell of a twist, though. This is sick. This is sick. This is cool. I'm gonna go check the radar again, though. Room kind of sounds like it wound back up again. This is cool as hell, though, guys. This is awesome. Yep, we're into storm. No, I'm not gonna watch the 7.2 trailer. I won't do that. I don't like watching the trailers. It is here for us all. Will be well. This is spooky. I love that we're just playing up the horror parts of this in this patch. I love it. So in Rainbow Riot set up the detective's office and the conspiracy board. It's revenge for millennia of pranks. God damn. This is so interesting because I agree with Llama T, and I love because it's so Yuriful of Llama T to take issue not with the fact that Sphenes is necessarily back, not with the fact that people's memories are being fucked, but no, the thing that Llama T snaps at is that Sphenes would never only save a portion of her people. She would never do that. That's what Llama T snaps at. That's what pisses her off the most. Also, that whoever's doing this is disgracing the memory of Sphenes. But anyone who has a regulator on, Which, man, good thing none of the members of Obsidian do. Their memories are all shifted. They're all changed. Somebody is up in that control booth doing some shit. Who that is, we don't know. And that Sphene is not our Sphene, a different Sphene. I really liked all the camera angles this patch that we were far away or high up, looking down like we were being watched the whole time. There was a big feeling that we were being watched the whole time. And I'm starting to think if we actually were. Hello, Preservation. It's nice to finally hear from you. Could be preservation involved. Wait, Shrew, were you saying that we have a detective's office with a conspiracy board? Is that real? I thought you were just joking about that. The Scions face our new Dawntrail friends. This is so interesting, though. Union has returned. Oh. He's not proposed to create new Endless. Just contact your Stoller as soon as possible. Yeah, I hope she's on control. FC because I'm not one. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Came with your own eyes then. It wasn't someone else. Queen's Sphenes Reason's proclamation were spread about the district like wildfire. Report yet, but all eyes and ears out, ever keeping heritage found. To reservation is back. And are the Endless? Oh no. Seriously, what was that? Caught the proclamation from a distance. I can tell you that the message about new regulators was received with utmost clarity. Wouldn't have been Sphene. She should have been destroyed when the Meso terminal was shut down. Without a single Alexandrian to bear witness, present with the identical figure claiming their beloved queen, it's just no surprise they would choose to believe she's alive. What is troubling, however, is her denial that the funeral was held in her honor. It's as if their memories have been erased. Yep, Alfie, you're on it. Even the members of Oblivion remain unaffected. That was likely the work of the Regulator, but by whose design? I'm smart enough to play at being the Queen of Reason, and that, guys, you know there's some suspect deception. Most of Alexandria will be on her side. We need to find out who she really is. Liberating O'Hara that we should avoid drawing more attention to what we already have. Let's be patient until Oblivion's network turns up a lead, or until our self-proclaimed queen makes her next move. No, I don't disagree. All right. What's the meanwhile? Meanwhile, in living memory. Yep, fucking knew it. Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh.
Where am I?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, I know where she's staggering from. I know where she is.
My people. Are they safe?
Here's how the tragic Yuri can still win. Oh my god. She's still alive?
Why am I...
Stola, have you not noticed this? Yep. There they go. Near of death, the people turn to Queen Reborn, their fates to learn. Are there 2 fucking Sphenes? How? Why can't I hold all these Sphenes? Oh my god. Why can't I hold all these Sphenes? This is amazing. This is actually factually amazing. Double the Sphene, double the fun. This is how Tragic Yuri can still win, guys. It really is, though. This is how we can still win. I love it too. What is your spiel that you have 2 Toxic Yuri girlfriends? In the fear of death, people learn to cook for themselves and die of food poisoning. Oh. Was fuck. Oh, this is amazing. 7.1 best patch ever. Dawntrail best expansion ever. Let's go. That's a killer hook. Yes, I agree. I think Mags, that's what I'm thinking, especially from where this Sphene emerged from and from how she seems all delirious and whatnot. I have a feeling this could actually factually be the original Sphene. The actual, potentially flesh and blood Sphene that was just been entombed this entire time. Or was like the backup plan clone, right? Yes, yeah, no, I agree. Like, that is what I think. I think she is the original Sphene. That is literally what I was thinking of. So where she is coming out of, and kind of where she's emerging from, I feel like this could be the real Sphene. This new Sphene is either an imposter or is like somebody puppeting a Sphene, I believe. Yeah, definitely flesh and blood, because robots don't have vision and pass out, usually. That's the other kicker. Her blurry vision, her sort of delirious nature, and then her passing out, that's not really something robots do. They don't really do that, but a person does. A person can pass out. So, right? Why not? And then the first line, her voice sounded really hoarse. Yeah, like kind of like she hasn't spoken in a while, maybe. You know? She hasn't used that organ in ages. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I'm thinking. One solution and is the one that was created by preservation to be a puppet. In case of the endless Sphene, it didn't work out due to having the original's memories implanted in her. I could see that. I could see her being a puppet from like preservation. Or preservation's sort of last gasp here. A little bit, right? I kind of think it's probably what happened is exactly what Prowl did to keep the Scion's body from dying out with her Aether and Shadowbringers. Yeah, I bet she was like fucking cryogenically preserved or etherically preserved. I'm not sure I believe, because everyone says they weren't able to save her body, but they were able to save her soul. Were they? Was that true? We don't know that. We don't know if that's true. They just told us that. They can lie. Or not know the truth, right? I still hold to the belief that we've only met the AI hologram modeled after Sphene. Yeah, no, I believe the 7.0 Sphene was like, you know, the living memory, was the endless Sphene, right? Sort of the memory of Sphene copied onto sort of a robot. The real Sphene could have just been entombed in the tower, woke up after living memory shut down, right? Sort of clawed her way out of there. And then this Sphene could be preservation's like backup clone that doesn't have her memories, but is instead just like a programmed robot. Because that would make sense, especially as a backup. Evil's fan definitely thinks preservation making a move to control of Alexandria. Whether preservation is alive at all, we don't know, right? And I hate to say it, but it could be Asians. I don't want it to be, but you know, I feel like in these kind of situations, we truly never know. Yeah, Abe, in case of emergency break glass contingency plan. I would believe that this highly intelligent group of scientists would have a contingency plan. Yeah, Meat Sphenes was fortunate enough to be found by Yashael, right? Which probably ends up saving her life, potentially. But yes, I agree. I don't think it was fully Ascians, but it's definitely the Ascian modus operandi. I definitely think an Ascian was involved with the creation of preservation. But I do agree, I don't think it's like Ascians right now. Or I kind of hope it's not. I definitely lose respect for the writers if they did Elidibus again. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they will. Why didn't even get non-tragic here out of this? Guys, if Sphene and Lama T actually get to kiss. Please! I hope so. Thank you, Kane. Thank you, Garaka. Here's how the Yuri can still win. Do it, Yoshi P. Do it, you coward. No, honestly, they should do it, because that would be a good flush of all the bad people in the fandom. They should do that. Which Sphene, though? The real Sphene, the good one. Or they'll bring Sphene back just to kill her again. I could see that. How many times can they kill Sphene? Let's find out. Meat Sphene. I'll take the evil one. Yeah, go for it. I dare say that too. God, it's fucking windy out. Steam managing to steal most on-screen deaths title from your stolen a single expansion. Let's go. I don't think they'll kill her again, but I also think they're taking over Exandria and we'll go against the theme of them needing to move on without her. Yeah, like what I hope, and kind of what I assume here, what I assume is gonna happen, is there's gonna be a bit where like Sphene is gonna be like, I am Sphene, and I am here to save the world. And everyone's gonna be like, yay, Sphene is here, and she's here to save the world. And we have this fake Sphene and the real Sphene. The meat Sphene, if you will. Fake Sphene and real Sphene are gonna come to head once we find her, recover her, and we're able to get her talking. Sphene's gonna get a kick-ass girlfriend in the form of Lama T. And through Lama T, Gululja, and us, we're gonna teach Sphene, the real Sphene, that she should instead perhaps just be able to live her goddamn life, right? Have fun at the movies, Nomad. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. And we're gonna show her that there's more to this life that she can have, and I'm hoping Sphene, Meat Sphene, gets to live and sort of gets her chance at like a life. Gets to actually have a life, right? And leaves Gululja to rule if he so wants to, which is kind of seeming like, you know, something he's kind of trying to do. But again, hopefully they don't let Sphene take things back over again, because like, I agree, I think they do need to move on without her. That's a lot of fun. And I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they would. How much was her and how much was preservation? I'm sure Sphene cares a lot about her people, but this kind of feels like almost like, hi Nisette. This kind of almost feels like Lama T kind of getting a second chance at love, but also at the idea that like things don't have to be this way, right? And that's kind of what I'm hoping it is. I am thinking we might have to kill the other Sphene because she might be evil, or is perhaps just not Sphene at all, right? Is somebody like this guy's leader. Right? Could be something like that. And I think we're gonna play probably a pretty active role in helping Sphene sort of take the reins of her life here. Take the reins of her life. We are all Sphene, the voice of Agent Smith. No. They'll get a pointy moment when the two of them meet. And the two of them meeting will be a big deal, because then people will be like, which Sphene is the real Sphene? Right? And that'll be a bit of an issue. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a deal of, like, Alexandria will, in fact, have to figure out what the fuck they're going to do next. They'll have to. They won't have a choice. And then our Sphene, Meet Sphene, is hopefully going to get the chance to finally kind of just live her life. Maybe she gets to go to Tuliolal and live in Tuliolal with her girlfriend-to-be wife, Lama T, right? That could happen. Yeah. Live her life, see new things, learn about other cultures, fitting with the theme of Dawntrail. Exactly. Not sure, but I bet the Blackout regulators will create, like, the FF9 Alexander or something. They might summon a Primal. They might create a We Are One kind of deal. Alexander would be perfect considering the everything, but he does already exist in the game, so I don't know. He actually exists in two places. There's two Alexanders in this game. Maybe they'll throw a third in, just like another Sphene. We keep making Sphenes. This is fantastic, though. This is about, like, one of the most interesting things they could have done. And I love that. I love that for Final Fantasy XIV. We are, like, so bad. People be like, Dawntrail, and I'd be like, are we playing the same game? This is truly the Dawntrail Defender stream. I will die on this hill. Yeah, Neo regulars would be the perfect to take Aether to create a Primal. Interesting, wouldn't they? We love our Primal creation, baby. And Aerith would just be like, seriously, I thought I was done with Primals! God damn it! Eastvy doesn't have her glove thing on, so what is she wearing? Is she wearing anything? Who knows? That's kind of what I'm thinking. She doesn't have her glove on, right? She doesn't have her stuff on. I wonder if she's just naked, right? They have her locked in the cooler and she's just naked. Because that would make sense. Probably naked out of the tube or something. And it's not like it's not like Alexandria is incapable of preserving people in tubes, because we saw that at the facility, at the Yahweh Wata facility. The 5,000 the sacrifice, not the ones who get saved. That could very well be it. Or it could be that, like, it could be either or. One group is the sacrifices, and the other one is the group that's going to be saved, so to speak. Because they need the Aether. And they obviously can't beat the shit out of Tuliolal. That simply won't work. It has to be something else. What does it have to be? Well, it's probably got to be their own people. That's the only resource they're left with. Imagine having a crowd getting popped out and somebody just pulled the plug on the whole area. Yeah. Walking around the facility naked like, what the fuck happened? Wata. I can't show you that. We care about our team rating. It's true. So the original Sphene, she probably doesn't know Lama T. No, the original Sphene probably wouldn't. She probably wouldn't recognize any of us. She would probably know her people, but she's probably gonna pop out of that tube like, what the fuck is this? Because it's not the Alexandria she knows. Which also ultimately makes it easier for her to, like, step away from Alexandria, because she's concerned about her people. But if this is the original Sphene, this is not the Alexandria she knows. Not even close. Not even close. So she's gonna potentially walk away from that because it's like, well, I'm not capable of this. Rose been naked both times they drag her back out of the live stream. And also Thancred, all the signs when Raha gotchapon him over the first. Yep. But she does not know Lamati, and she does not know everyone here, and she does not know this world. All the more reason for her to learn more about the culture and for us to help her, right? It's perfect. It plays perfectly into our hand, right? It plays perfectly into our hand, into sort of our goals, into how the game works, and this themes of exploration and family and understanding. Fuck, maybe Sphene kisses Lamati square on the mouth and they raise Gulja together. Lesbians adopting a son. This happens a lot. Sons especially, I feel. But maybe that's a personal experience. I don't know. You know what I mean. Think of how much angst there's potential with Lamati knowing Sphene so intimately and Sphene not knowing whom she even is. Ooh. Ooh. Exactly. And they can kiss. Right, Sammy has 2 mums? That would imply I'm a boy. So no. Also, the Yuri potential of getting the chance to know each other again. Yuri. Random theory about Meat Sphene is that she's not going to have the infinity-looking hair loops in front. I bet that. I would be so deliciously intrigued if Sphene has none of the Meat Sphene has none of the hair loops, none of the infinity symbols, none of the sayings on her clothes. I so badly want to see Sphene in casual clothes. Put her in pants. Give her sweatpants. Also waiting for that blurb about Levin sickness to come back to the fore. I could see that too. Of course, it's a bit different. Would really be sad if she was old. Okay, now you guys are getting too into your tragic Yuri. I don't think she'll be old. Like, I think she'd be, like, cryogenically preserved. Like I said, again, I think she's just, like, delirium, like, you know, like, in kind of a state of delirium because of, like, all the shit that's happening. Which would make a ton of sense. Ooh, what's going on over here? Interesting. Pretty sure it's the Vanguard dungeon here, but it looks a lot like the tactical PvP sets. Why is that sick child still inside the flippin' dome? We know how tempering works. This looks 100% like a tempering problem. I don't know. Like, we don't know. And it's also not as if we can just, like, yank. I'm gonna look at the radar. There's a lot of sirens. 4 active weather alerts. Oh boy. Man, oh man. Fucking windy. Can't wait for Sphene to meet her horror movie, like, robot version self. We could cure Haloric because the light wardens were stopped, and Solution 9 is completely immersed in lightning. Yeah, it's still covered in lightning. Sphene having Levin sickness in life? She could have, maybe. Yeah. Melo's kid with Levin sickness. Not actually, but yeah. No, I mean, again, I also don't trust, like, necessarily how she died. They could have just lied through their fucking teeth about that one, you know? They really could have. Like, we can probably treat Levin sickness. We might be able to. Circumstances can be different. Preservation Lions saying ain't so. Crazy, right? Crazier things have happened. Why is it Sphene here? Love and sickness. Totally not in a tube. Possible nightmare fuel that preservation just put her under to make the perfect pliable queen for their goals. Yeah. Yeah. They could have done that. They could have done that. And for what we know of preservation, guys, these guys were like, they weren't like one mad scientist. They were like a bunch of mad scientists all working together to do the most mad science they possibly could. Like, damn. What exactly to preserve it? Alexandria. At any cost. Defensive love and sickness is an overpowering of lightning or a weakness to it. If it's a weakness, I don't think the Porksies help. Alexandrian bits or something. Look, all I'm gonna say is, but yes, they were determined to preserve all of Alexandria, no matter the cost. And we're seeing probably what that cost looks like a little bit, you know? I need 7.2 injected in my veins right now. Same. Final Fantasy is great, guys. I love 14. Such a good game. Dawntrail's such a good expansion. But if you're the cat and dogs and sharks, no! The Aether being overly lightning aspected. Yeah. No, I mean, look, we might be able to cure the love and sickness stuff. We might be able to, but that it could happen. Very common Colorado land sharks. I knew it. I knew it. It's a new location. Oh, here. Oh, it's up there. Sphenes rabbit hole. She's wormed her way into my brain. She won't leave. She's everywhere. Sphenes, 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 Sphenes. Sphenes, 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 Sphenes. Oh, don't. Kind of like Smile is in the leitmotif of every song in the expansion. True. They start spawning at the same rate. So many Sphenes are spawning everywhere. They're everywhere. We need reinforcements. There's so many Sphenes. Recording the half-destroyed railway, I was concerned. They would do that to us. I feel the need to say that they would do that to us. So just all the ads are just Sphene. Llama T's nightmare. Everyone is Sphene. Leave me alone. A random ass cave, apparently. Boss is a Sphene in a mech. Is another Sphene in a Sphene mech, yeah. Or would that be her dream? It's like Near Raid with the Sphene instead of the red girl. Sphene, Sphene, Sphene. I need it. You guys know that one meme video of the like all Thancred party in Dead Ends? The my turn. You guys know that meme video, right? That, but just Sphenes. My turn. She still throws buildings at us, though. I mean, absolutely. So they removed my turn. I know. I'm really mad about that. I was just like, my turn. Like, no. Where's my goofy screaming Thancred? I need him. I can't believe Final Fantasy XIV is the worst game ever made. I'm kidding. Yeah, props to her calling the evil Sphenes withdrawal like a curse. No, that was kind of sick. Like, she had some growl on that. I love that. Zana's a great voice actress. She does such a good job. Just the, like, withdrawal. Like that? Damn. She's pissed. So upset about her girlfriend being, you know, being taken. Which all means land grabber, does it? Codex might know. Oh, it's true. That'd be a good bit. Trill draws VA too. That's like the first time he showed any emotion. More or less. I mean, he is a good VA, don't get me wrong. Certainly an implication of tyrant, yeah. And again, I just adore that Llama T's beef was not that Sphene was there, not what she was saying, but that Sphene would never save some of her people. She would never save only some of her people. She would save all of them. Of course she would. That's good. That's juicy. That's what we call Yuri-licious in the business. Thank you for coming to my Sphene TED Talk. Thank you for being here for everyone's Sphene Talk, if you will. She's willing to burn down the whole world to save everyone. No, that's true. Big true. The 5,000 people have nothing bad happen to them at all in the next 2 weeks. No, I'm sure you're right. I think they'll be fine. A people so desperate to live. Well, if it comes down to it, only some of you may live. Is that not a choice you'd still be willing to make? Luck of the draw. It's like a lottery. And then the little boy that we've seen be scared this whole time, he's gonna get like his soul sucked or something. Who won the lottery? I won the lottery! Yeah! I'm a winner! I don't know if you guys will get that one. On the bright side is when this all spectacularly fails and we save everyone, it might be what they need to go, hey, you know, maybe it's okay to deal with our emotions. Instead of just Control-Alt-deleting them. Maybe it's okay to do that. Maybe we should do that more, in fact. That might be the thing they needed. Again, still hope that they don't get horribly traumatized and nothing bad happens to them, but... yeah, it's probably gonna happen. It's probably... something bad's gonna happen. We know something bad's gonna happen. Bum, ba-dum, bum. All right. There we go. Okay, we are going to go raid a new friend. One of Ashley's friends and a moot on Twitter. We're gonna go say hi to Bunny. And yes, I will hopefully not explode from any inclement weather. Knock on wood. So, yeah. I will see you guys Monday. I'll see you then. And we'll do more Metaphor. I think we'll have... oh man, do I play 14 next week? I mean, look. I don't know, chat. We could play some 14 next week, or we could play another game. Because we are caught up. But then 7.2 is right around the corner. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Tell me. Yap at me in Discord if you have opinions. But I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Be good to yourselves, or else. Buddy's playing Phoenix Wright, which I hear those games are pretty cool. So we'll see that. But she's a nice lady. And I will have an announcement ready, I think, next week of some shenanigans we're gonna get up to later in the month. But other than that, I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Stay safe. Love yourselves. Respect yourselves. Be kind. Tell the people in your life that you love them. Right? That's important. You'll never know when you lose them, as is the story of Dawntrail. And get ready for all of these Sphenes. So many Sphenes. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Oh no, my wooga booga.
It's just this like contradiction in my testimony. Hey, Zoomy! Welcome on in. Thanks so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. How was your stream? Hopefully you had a good time.